Hey everyone, Dan here. Before we get into it, if you enjoy these videos, please hit the like and subscribe button. It helps a lot. And also keep in mind, these are my own thoughts, opinions, and ideas. These are not meant to be, nor should you take them as investment or trading advice in any way, shape, or form. Do your own due diligence, put in the work for yourself, and make your decisions based on that. Enjoy.
All right, folks, here we are on Sunday, February 6th. We're going to take a look at SPY, QQQ, IWC, and UVXY to try to get a sense of, where we stand in the market as a whole, and maybe sort of put in some ideas of what we could be looking for this week, which could, definitely prove to be a continuation of the volatile weeks that we've seen recently. So starting off with SPY here on the weekly chart, just to sort of like get our bearings again. Just as a reminder, SPY had been in this channel since April of 2020, and then it fell out about 3 weeks ago now or so, and I had this really rough week where it was down almost 6%, and then the week after that, relatively flat, but recovered a little less than 1%. And then last week, up about 1.5% on the week. Now, these bounce zones that we had put in a few videos back, proving to be holding up relatively well in purple here. So we're looking for it to catch at these support levels, showing the previous support that existed within the channel, and those to me are still looking pretty solid. And obviously what you're getting here is retesting of, you see this swing high here and then the swing lows that's occurred after that here, right? It found support where it previously found resistance. And so to me, I'm going to stick that in red right there, because what I'd be looking for is like a strong move or strong price establishment over this level could certainly set things back on a very bullish course. Now, this isn't chart related, but I definitely have a lot of like personal trepidation in terms of where we might be going, mostly because I know there's a lot of talk about inflation concerns and things like that. I'm mostly concerned about the tapering aspect that's going to be coming up, and how much that might sort of suck a bunch of liquidity out of the markets, and so that'll sort of like be a to be seen kind of thing. I don't know how much of that is getting priced in. I don't know how much is already sort of like the factors have played out here a bit, and now maybe it's actually going to be okay once we reach that point in time, which I think is scheduled for March, but we'll just have to see. But in any case, these are the levels that I'm most interested at this point. If we come back down to like 435, down to 432, seeing if it can hold and or bounce again there, that would be obviously to the downside. To the upside, see if it can break to about 455 and then establish in the 456 and above range. That to me could signal some potential for like a strong bullish case coming up. But that's what I'm looking for in the near term. I guess I might as well point out, if for some reason it draws down and it can't hold this like 432 level, the next level that I would see would be about 426, 427, all the way down to about 422. And then you'll see here, if it can't hold those levels, I see 414 and 400. But, for the bulls, obviously hoping that we don't need to catch those levels, but we'll see. It could be a wild one. QQQ is a pretty similar setup, long-term channel that broke, and you see this looks relatively similar. And these candle structures even relatively similar as well. This one is a little bit less decisive, and this one is maybe a little bit more bottom heavy. No, they're both pretty bottom heavy on the SPY and the QQQ on last week's candle. So we'll see if QQQ can sort of do the same thing. Looking for like 350 down to 348 bounce level there, and if it loses that, then the next level that I'd see it trying to catch would be about 341 down to about 335. 327, 320 to the downside if it needs it. But otherwise, playing out pretty similarly. Let's zoom back out here on the IWC, because this is in a different situation. It looks like my previous charting didn't pull through. So just to kind of like reset here, just because like I said, this is a different situation, different setup. So it had been holding for like a year in this range, and then it fell out to the downside here in this pretty like indecisive candle on this a few weeks ago, about a month ago, I guess, and then that the week following that it was down over 8%. So that was the big down week. That was obviously the big loss of that level, and so now it's trying to catch in these like relatively logical ways. You see this like slight few week consolidation there, right? So I'd throw basically two levels in, one at the bottom of that, one at the top of that, and say those would be the catch levels that I look at, this previous consolidation before it ran up and then had this year-long range that it built. So I'm looking for like 122 to be the support level currently, and then like 116 if it needs it to the downside. If it does start to rise, what I'd be looking for is sort of like a strong resistance right here around 133. It'll probably start to catch quite a bit of resistance, and then like the down bound of this range around 136 would be another area where it might get quite sticky and sort of like have some challenging times trying to push through. Now in UVXY, just to get a sense of where things are standing here, you do see, sorry, I know I have some of these like things on the daily and they show up on the chart, and it's not helpful when I'm doing this, so sorry that I keep popping in and deleting these out. But in any case, 1464 right now on UVXY, I have these levels here right around 1487. So it would be a level if it starts to get some strong movement over there. It does have quite a bit of run room up to about 16. So that's, pretty big range. And then down here, 14. So it's really sort of like on the dollar and on the half, I think probably is more realistic or more just sort of psychologically logical than these like 1596. I think that's just 16. I think 1712 is probably just 17, right? So on the chart, that's where I stuck them. But I think as it would pertain to sort of like the psychology of these round number levels, I'm just looking for what's happening on the 50 cents and on the dollar. But it does have this long-term downtrend resistance that it hasn't like been approaching recently. Now that said, if it continues to move sideways or even bumps up a little bit, it'll wedge out of there, sort of like descending triangle itself out of there over the course of the next few weeks, maybe even a couple months. But it'll be interesting to see what it does at that point. But I think that this will probably just mostly move based off of any of the the potential markers in the overall indices, as well as the sort of like geopolitical concerns as they play out over the course of this week and the coming weeks. So that to me will more than anything move UVXY, and if none of those things really are playing a big factor, then can sort of use it to sort of bolster what you're seeing on the other charts. I use it to try to confirm what's happening on SPY, because to the extent to which SPY and UVXY are lining up and just doing the opposite things, it can sort of like help kind of feel a bit more concrete in your analysis of, okay, SPY looks like it's doing this, QQQ looks like it's doing this. Is UVXY moving in the exact opposite, or is it starting to like move in conjunction with each other for some reason, and which one is going to give way? So hopefully that makes sense. All right, folks, well, good luck this week. Like I said, I think it could be another wild one, but we'll know soon enough. So as always, I appreciate you watching, and I will see you in the next video.